From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Happy holidays from Weather NorCal and our sponsors. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. Here are some of the rainfall totals we've seen in the last 24 hours as of about noon today. Now, very impressive in the valley, about a half an inch to an inch there. We did see almost an inch and a half in Crescent City, as well as Hoopa. Weaverville, almost a little over half an inch, a little over an inch in Hayfork, and even Mount Shasta City, about 37 hundredths of an inch of rainfall. All right, so here's what I'm tracking through early next week. Now, this series of storms is coming in three phases, kind of a 1, 2, 3 punch, if you will. The first one is moving through today as we speak. The second one, and I think it's going to pack the biggest punch, will be here both Friday and Saturday. And the third one will be here on Monday. So what I'm expecting here, especially as we go into tomorrow and Saturday, moderate to heavy rainfall at times with the potential for flooding. Again, this is when we can see flooding is Friday and Saturday. We also have periods of heavy snowfall. And quite honestly, I'm beginning to think that the amount of snow that we see out of storm system number 2 may rival what we saw 2 weeks ago, where we saw the shutdown of I-5. Mount Shasta City saw about 30 inches of snow. Now, keep in mind that 30 inches of snow came in a matter of 12 to 18 hours. What we're going to see with this storm system, punch number 2, will be in a matter of 18, 24, maybe 36 hours. So it's going to be a longer stretch of that snow, but still a lot of snow nonetheless. I also expect very gusty winds, especially as you go into Friday and the first part of Saturday as well. All right, so a lot to unpack here, and I'm just going to show you the different watches and warnings that are out there, but honestly, they keep changing. They're changing throughout the day. So just to give you an idea, there's the element of snow. That's why we have the advisories out there. The rain, we could see the potential for flooding, mudslides, debris flows. As of right now, it's mainly for Del Norte County, but there are other areas where we could see mudslides and debris flows as well. There's a coastal flood advisory, but that is for tomorrow morning, and that's not because of the rain. That's just because of the high astronomical tides that we're going to have in that area. And remember I was mentioning those winds? We've got a wind advisory for Modoc County, the coast. We also have a high wind warning for central Siskiyou County, again because of those gusty winds. All right, so here's the storm timeline. It's a minor impact today. We're seeing some of the rain, we're seeing the snow in the higher elevations. There have been chain requirements, but nothing we're not used to around here. Now, I do expect Friday is when we expect to see some heavy rainfall moving through, and it could be some steady rainfall through a good portion of the day on Friday, which means a good amount of rainfall and a decent amount of snow coming out of it as well. Now, this is where we're talking about the potential for I-5 delays and windy conditions. We're going to call it a moderate impact, because as we go into Friday night and into Saturday, we're still looking at the potential for steady rainfall and heavy, steady snow as well. And that is going to, on top of what we're seeing on Friday, that's what we're seeing here on Saturday, and we're calling it a high impact as a result. Now, I do expect that by Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, that storm system will start to exit the region, and by Sunday, we're actually getting a bit of a break. Still a chance for a few isolated snow flurries and showers, but a bit of a break before Monday's system decides to come on in. All right, so here's what we have for the rest of the day today. We've got showers and there's snow levels between 3,000 and 4,500 feet in those higher elevations. So you can see storm system number 1, number 2, and number 3 is coming in off behind that as well. This is, as we go into today, there's tomorrow and Saturday, and then of course the one coming in on Monday. So again, it's that 1, 2, 3 punch. And I think this one right here is going to be that biggest punch. So here's the overall setup. What we've got here, this is clearly an atmospheric river that we're seeing here, but you see where it ends? It's not over Northern California just yet. But you see these little swirls right here? These are storm systems. They're areas of low pressure. those are impacting our weather. And what's happening is those storm systems, they're tapping into this moisture. So this right here is the moisture source for the storms that'll be moving through. And that's why we expect it to be pretty heavy rainfall. Now, some people might define this as an atmospheric river. I earlier said that it's not necessarily an atmospheric river. You could define it as one because, again, the main source is coming here. That flow is all right here, but it's not that straight flow coming in from the south and west. So we saw that really good flow of moisture. It's kind of breaking off from that main flow, but we still have a good flow of moisture coming in. This is what could potentially bring us some pretty steady rainfall through the day on Friday. Steady light to moderate rain through the entire day and steady snow in some areas as well. So this is when we can see some of the heavier rainfall pushing through. Then as we go into Saturday, you see how it kind of pushes down to the south and east, but really the first half of the day on Saturday, still looking at the potential for some of that steady rain and snow. Then we see that break as we go into Sunday, and then Monday, again, we got another little flow, a little tap of moisture. But I think Monday's system is going to be much weaker, but still the showers and still the snow. And then once that moves out, we're getting cut off from that flow. In fact, high pressure will be the dominant feature for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. And all the moisture is off to our west, and the storm systems can't move through Northern California because of that ridge. So I do expect drier conditions by the time, especially as we get into, say, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday of next week. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast, walk you through it all. Through this afternoon, still some scattered showers for the valley, still some isolated snow flurries, but nothing major, nothing to be terribly concerned about. Still some chain requirements, especially east of I-5. Then we go into tonight. We're actually getting a bit of a break. But here's storm system number 2. That's what's coming in here. By 6 a.m., the rain kicking in for the north coast, Trinity County. We're seeing snow once again between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. Could be locally lower in some cases. Let's take you into the noon hour on Friday. Now we're seeing more of that steady rainfall moving into the valley. A little bit of shadowing. We're not seeing it quite as heavy for places like Corning, Willows, and even Chico. But there you can see the snow. I-5, you see the darker shades of blue? That is heavy snow. So keep in mind, for the morning through noon, you've got that steady flow of moisture, you've got that steady rain, you've got that steady snow. This is when we start running into problems. You see how it's not changing much, even through the afternoon through 6 p.m. Still that steady rain, still that steady snow, and see how heavy that snow is, especially in I-5. Could be looking at some chain requirements there. Chain requirements east of I-5. It looks like the snow levels are rising a little bit and may not be as low for places like, say, Buckhorn Summit, for example. But as always, as I say now, from now through Monday, check the latest road conditions before heading out, because Mother Nature can always surprise us. Look at this as we go into about midnight, Saturday, Friday night to Saturday. We're still seeing that steady stream of moisture, but you see how it's kind of getting cut off now. So we're beginning to lose some of the energy. However, you see one last push. Saturday morning at 7 a.m., heavy rainfall, heavy snow, most likely Buckhorn Summit, most likely looking at I-5 near Mount Shasta City. Plenty of chain requirements east of I-5. Highway 36 West seeing some chain requirements as well. Could we see snow around Hayfork and Weaverville? It could get that low, but it'll probably be kind of a wet snow, but snow nonetheless. That's Saturday morning. Look at this by noon. It's actually starting to break up. And by Saturday afternoon, just some snow flurries in the higher elevations, and we'll be done with most of it. All right, so here's a look at the rainfall totals through Saturday evening. All right, we're talking upwards of 2 to maybe even 3 inches of rain for the valley. That could be the case also for many along the coast. You see the heaviest rainfall here, not as much up to the north, but keep in mind a lot of that's just going to be in the form of snow. In fact, let's take a look at those forecast snow totals. And it is picking up on a little bit in Weaverville and Hayfork. Yeah, sure, it could get down to about 2,000 feet and maybe a wet snow, but it's probably not going to accumulate, right? And if it does, it'll be very light. But we're seeing upwards of maybe 2 feet of snow possibly for now all the way through Saturday evening. Dunsmuir a little bit less than that. Now it's showing a little bit less for Bernie and places like Shingletown. It all depends on how low we can get those snow levels. But for now, it looks like it won't be quite as much. Chester, though, could see up to 2 feet of snow as well. And Alturas, obviously not as much snow there, about 2 to 4 inches of snow. All right, let's switch gears. We're going to talk about the winds now. Not so much of a factor today, although a little breezy out towards Shasta Valley in central Siskiyou County. 7 a.m. Friday, winds picking up for the coast, picking up for central Siskiyou, right? And then, yeah, those winds picking up through the afternoon, even for the valley. We're seeing gusts 30, 40 miles per hour. And then we go into Friday night into Saturday. Now the strongest winds are basically for the valley eastward, not as bad off to the west. And then the wind should start to die down as we go into Saturday afternoon. So still looks like some gusty winds basically Friday through at least the first half of the day on Saturday. And then by Saturday afternoon, the winds die down. All right, so here's your forecast for the rest of the day today. Temperatures are going to be somewhere around 50, give or take for the valley, 30s for most of the higher elevations, and I do expect those temperatures to be somewhere in the low to mid 50s for the coast. Looking at your 7-day outlook for the valley, off and on showers. If we see a break right now, it looks like on Sunday, and then looks like on Tuesday, still a chance for some leftover showers, but drying out after that. For the coast, inland and Trinity County, off and on chances for rain will continue at least through Monday, maybe even lingering into Tuesday. And that's the same story for Siskiyou, Modoc, and the eastern mountains, but it looks like we're finally starting to get a bit of a break from the wet weather, especially by the middle through the latter part of next week. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back again this evening at 6 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.
Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.